My name's Imani. I'm 26 years old, and I've been in the industry, I want to say, about 5 years now. Professionally baking and doing different breads and pastries and things like that. I studied at Johnson and Wales University in Miami, Florida. I studied there for 2 years. Then after then, I've found different places in Baltimore City. I've always said that I wanted to make my statement here back in Baltimore. So as soon as I did my 2 years, I came back and just been doing different things ever since. I would say I started baking when I was about 10. Just looking, both of my parents on both sides of the family are cooks. And they taught me a lot. Same thing with my grandparents. They cook too. I have aunts and cousins. They all cook very well. And I've always been absorbing everything that they learned and applying it into what I'm doing now. So right now, I'm making a chocolate panna cotta. Right now it just has vanilla infused in there, but I'm thinking about going for a coffee flavor, just so that way it's a little bit more pungent. My most famous dessert, however, is actually banana pudding. It's kind of like every holiday I have to show up with the banana pudding or else I might just get out. But it's really good. A recipe that I've gotten from the internet, but I kind of made it my own over the years. Just to get the different techniques down, I kind of just take familiar nostalgic flavors. That's kind of like my direction that I want to go with this. It took me about 5 years to actually become a pastry chef, which means a lot to me because I actually made that my goal graduating out of school. And my goal was to always make desserts that look really clean and crisp. The flambe is really to burn off the alcohol in it. But with this being such a shallow burner, it's not really giving me my jump action like how I want to. But it's okay. I would say that a lot of the recipes that I gather together are just more so nostalgic flavors that people can see and go, wow, that's like a really nice plate. I've worked in different fine dining places, so when I take those techniques and I put it into a flavor such as simple as peanut butter and jelly, and I'm able to execute it in a way to where you would want to pay $35 for a plate, that's just where I want to go with it. And I'm gonna accompany this with a cinnamon ice cream. It's kind of like my favorite thing right now. My favorite thing to make is ice creams and cookies. I really enjoy chocolate. That's like one of my favorite flavors, chocolate coffee. Really strong flavors with really more complex and depth flavors. Something that kind of represents me, I feel like. Something that's complex, something that could be sweet, something that could be bitter, something that could be really light, but something that can also be dense as well. Putting all those things together, I feel like would really describe not only just Black women, but just more so anyone. If you're able to kind of dissect a person, you're able to dissect a menu as well and create it for a person. These are our ice cream machines that we have here. We probably only had them for about 6 months now. But these machines are pretty cool. They don't have to like cool the container down or anything. You can kind of just get started from regular base, like from the pot on to here. And that's pretty cool. It saves a lot of time. When I first decided to get into the industry and learned about just becoming a master chef and exactly what that means, I also noticed that it was also a male-dominated industry. And that kind of drove me a little bit forth to want to concentrate on, okay, should I do more high-class plating? Should I do more technical things? Because having that would kind of empower other Black girls that, you know, I didn't grow up watching a lot of Black women in Food Network or just on TV cooking, period. And I kind of want to create that avenue to where at least if you don't see me on TV, you'll see my name and you'll know once you look it up, it's a Black woman, and you'll feel inspired to do so. And just even in the industry now, in the kitchens that I've worked, they're all been male dominated. So being a woman doing what would be considered as a man's job, or being one of the guys, it means a lot being a Black woman, being able to do that, and to be able to let another Black girl see herself in me and be able to do that too.
And I'm roasting these jalapenos for our honey jalapeno butter that we serve with our cornbread and our biscuits.
I keep looking at the Jemima Code, that book, just because the concept of that book is just more so about not taking away the credit and the work of Aunt Jemima, or just from our ancestors and the things that they've done to get us here now, and to see where we've come from. I don't want to just be remembered as just the Aunt Jemima label, or just the servant label, when they have created and curated so many different recipes that are carried on into today. So I want to be able to carry that along myself, along with the same tastes, the same concepts and everything else, but in a way of where it can be MasterChef level. And I've always wanted to aspire myself to be a MasterChef come up. Maybe when I'm about 40 or 50, but at least by then, you know, it's never too late to get it done. I'm really happy in the things that I have accomplished in the meantime. But that's just like my overall goal. If not that, then to get into like food science. I like the molecular gastronomy of food and being able to get different flavors into something as simple as bubble gum, but it could be something that tastes like s'mores or something crazy like that. I always think that that's pretty cool.
This is like my first year in the kitchen, but here for 4 years. Just with my story, being here at Idabees, I was coming from different restaurants, and I actually wanted to take a break from baking, just so that way I can kind of get a direction of what I wanted to do. So by the time that I got back here, I actually worked at another restaurant, and now I'm getting the creative license to just do all the things that I've wanted to do that I couldn't do at other restaurants. Just coming from other restaurants that were predominantly white, and now that I'm here at a Black-owned restaurant, I'm able to kind of do things that I've done at home, at work, so that's always really rewarding.
First starting here, it was like a really humble beginning. I actually started off hosting in the front of the house. It almost seemed a little unfulfilling, but then once I kind of seen the side of, okay, you're here in the front, getting the review firsthand. You're able to kind of see things firsthand and check and see how people are feeling and get a gauge of what the audience wants at Idabees, which actually worked out into my advantage now, which is like really cool. I just like to be able to get a feel of who I'm making my food for before I get to do it. So I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to do that here, because I haven't been able to do that at any other restaurant. And to also be in a place that separates the legacy of a woman like Ida B. Wells means a lot. So to be like the pastry chef at a place that celebrates a Black woman, I want to do no more than to just bring justice to that. I think that that's like really cool that I've been given this opportunity. Well, I mean, just outside of cooking, I always see myself having my own family and everything else, just like how I guess every other woman will want. But it is rewarding, though, to be in the field and to get my career done, because my mom actually didn't have that opportunity. My mom went to culinary school when I was born in 1995, but she wasn't actually able to continue on into the field because, you know, she had to take care of me, of course. So I've always said, you know, I want to be able to fulfill the dream, whether if it was hers or my own, but I always wanted to fulfill my dreams. So I'm just happy to have that opportunity, because there are a lot of women in my family that aren't really following their dreams and everything else. It's like I'm kind of like the only flighty one. So sometimes I do kind of feel a little bit unfulfilled on that part, but I do enjoy just everything that I've been able to do. I've always seen myself traveling and things like that in the future. I always see myself mentoring girls as well, or even young boys, but just more so young people that are willing to learn and just kind of have a positive influence. I always try to be a positive influence, if not only on my peers, but it means a lot to have a community that children can come to and feel okay, to be themselves and to feel like they can create. Because that's where I was missing when I was growing up. I feel like I got into cooking just to be more creative at home. Alrighty, 1, 2, 3, flip and flip. Yep. And they just all fall out. I think I might have to taste this guy right here. Yep, perfect. I was born in East Baltimore, raised in Woodlawn, went to school in Towson, and then from there I just said, I need to just kind of explore. I've traveled all over the East Coast, but just to be able to go out and say, all right, I'm living on my own in Florida, it was it's definitely a lot of fun. But at the same time, it was a lot of things that I could learn from. It was a lot of different cultures, and the art scene down there was amazing. And it was just a lot of inspiration to come from, not only just from the people there, but the music, and it was just the energy to where I could really fulfill from. But like I said, I always wanted to just come back here and make my statement. I didn't want to do it in Florida, so that's why I was so quick to move back. But it was a really cool experience. I met some cool people out there. I've seen some really cool places, just from the high end and the low end. It was just a lot of things to kind of aspire to bring back here, because we don't have those type of things in Miami. A lot of different hotels and the scenery, or even just the people that come through here. I feel like if there's a better presentation of what we can do here in Baltimore, we can compete with places like Miami, of course. I feel like it's just kind of having the effort and having the team behind you to get it done. Actually, when I was going through school, I didn't have as many fails as my classmates. So that kind of had me a little bit on the edge of the game, like, okay, like I'm getting this piece of paper, but I really don't need to go to school. So I kept going through, and there would be entremets that I would do, baguettes and things like that. Just on the first attempt, I would get it right. So it's like, okay, I have a knack for this. So once I take it out of here, what am I doing with it? And I would go to different places and try out their recipes, maybe learn from the gentlemen on the other sides, like garmage and on saute and everything else, but bring it back to myself for flambés and maybe different knife cuts for different presentations of garnishes and things like that. But I was always just kind of processing things throughout my years. When I first started here and I was learning about Ida B. Wells, the main thing that I took from her story that I feel like applies a lot today is just more so her vision behind the Red Book and her vision behind the newspapers and everything like that, just more so about sharing our story and sharing our struggles to bring greater light to it. Today, if it weren't for social media and everything that happened in the beginning of COVID and just with George Floyd and with Breonna Taylor and things like that, if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't have any way to connect and unite and bring change into our community. And to see it become full circle right now, and to see the changes that are able to be made from something as simple as her, Ida B. Wells, broadcasting lynchings in the South and everything else, to see that come full circle, I think is really powerful. Because a lot of younger people and even older people in the Congress and everything is just changing to kind of suit to be our people and for what the Constitution originally stood for, which was for our voices to matter and for us to stand together and be a united union and to make change in our community. So to see that become inspired from a Black woman is pretty badass. I'm not sure if I'm able to cuss, but it's just really nice to see, just to know that her work isn't gone undone. After all of this time, it's been since the 1800s, and now here it is 2021, and we're still able to make change. I feel like if we're able to keep that ball rolling, we can have just, if not a peaceful world, then at least a better understanding of one another. It was a Tuesday. I just randomly did a strawberry cobbler just to get rid of the ones that we had, and I caught them at a great time. Like, they tasted delicious. Came out a little pink, but nothing wrong with that.
Well, to be honest, I don't have like a small KitchenAid, and this is like way too small for that big old mixer. So it's just kind of something I came up with. I know it looks a little crazy, but it definitely tastes good. I actually remember doing an stage for Charleston, and I was kind of like stuck on what to do. I ended up doing a fruit cobbler, like a mixed fruit cobbler and everything. She loved it. And that was like a shining moment for me, because I'm just like, oh my God, like I definitely pulled that one right out my back pocket, but it ended up working out.
As crazy as it sounds, I love that the incident at Atlas happened, because then people know, okay, we're not saving up our money to go to this place. We're going to save our money to go to the Black-owned place, because why? They're hiring our people. They're funding into our community. I like the fact that we're buying Black books here in Ida B. Wells, or Ida B's table. I like that they're buying Black books and that they're going from different Black vendors and everything like that. And back when we had our farms and partners, and as many of them as the Black-owned, like the couple's tea and just things like that. It's just one of those things, yeah, if people can see it, then there'll be more of it. Actually, growing up, I would see myself saying that I would have to aspire to go to Four Seasons, or I would have to aspire to go to a place that's in a group like that to feel successful. And I like that I'm able to do this in a Black-owned business, and that a lot of people that come in here look just like me, on top of, you know, the people that I work with looking just like me. All of those things kind of satisfy into itself. Just because when you aspire yourself to go to those places and they turn the door on you, you think the next thing you should do is just kick it through, when you can just build your own door and not have to go through as much anger. And it's just, it's sad to see just those situations where people that look like me can't go into places like that, even though there's people in the back that look like me. But the people that are dining in, they can't. And still to this day, it kind of just bothers me, because I'm just wondering, if our talent is great, why can't we just enjoy ourselves there? Now here at Ida B's table, it gives off, like when you walk in the door, it looks really upscale and everything else. I like that we're able to suit all audiences. Even in the beginning, we would even take in people that would have as little as $5, just as much as we can to help out our community. We would never turn anyone away. And I feel like having that community with Black-owned restaurants and Black-owned businesses, it's okay to feel like, okay, well, I have a laundry list of places where I can go in and I can feel accepted. I don't have to wear a suit to feel like I can be a part of a group and be served. It almost sounds as if we are back in 1960, and it's just crazy to see like how little things just such as dress codes and things like that can deteriorate a whole nother type of audience from people. And it also, I feel like there's a bit of a stigma with Black-owned businesses as well. Just more so, there's always the stigma of Black people don't know how to run their businesses. They have poor business practices. Just more so, I guess, if there's not management of funds, then there's nepotism and things like that. I feel like if we keep building more Black businesses, then maybe we can take away the negative connotation on Black-owned businesses. If you figure that there's only 5 in the whole city of Baltimore where there's thousands of people, of course it'll be overrun because there's only 5. But if there's maybe 50 or maybe 100, then maybe there's more people that can delegate all the different things that need to go on to where we can all, come together in a community. I feel like that would make a big difference. But just to see, even in a matter of time, and since COVID, really, I've seen a lot more Black-owned businesses pop up, and I felt more likely to spend my money there as well. I would hate to spend money in a place where, they really wouldn't want me there.
So that's the apple cobbler, seasonal cobbler rather. Right now, the flavor is apple.
My chef's been saying this a lot lately, and he said that when you're cooking, there's a phrase where you should say, fail, fail, try. And basically that means don't ever give up on the first fail, and don't give up on the second fail. Don't give up on the 5th fail or even the 10th, because by the time you get to the 11th, you'll get to your accomplishment. And that's where you're satisfied. It's not gonna happen just all in one try. And I've failed so many times doing that. And also just to be open to try new things, be open to new experiences, new people, new cultures. Just never settle. I never settle in any recipes that I have. I always know that I can improve and become better in what I'm doing. If not the method, then the taste. And then just keep working at it, and don't stress, because it's I can't cook angry or anything like that. So I would never suggest to become like the next Gordon Ramsay and just, fire off a fuel. It's good to cook with love too. I think that that's just my secret ingredient, is love and patience. I feel like that's one of the most things that come out of it, when I'm just there standing and nurturing the things that I'm making. Just the women, the matriarchs in my life, they really are some strong women that I know, and they will always have my back, and I always aspire to be just like them. So that would be like my mom and my aunt, my grandma, and everything like that. They've taught me some beautiful life lessons to where I just carry them, and I go forth in my life and try to just stay blessed.